morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Before our dear friends on the Calculus AB side have a chance to say this later on today for their video, Tony and I would like to wish all of you a happy May the 4th be with you day, right? The Star Wars reference. So I want to steal a little bit of their thunder, the always expected May the 4th be with you on May 4th today. But we are excited for this week because we are starting our week on navigating the College Board submission portal. So this week, we're going to be doing a lot of different things to get you ready for the exam, but also diving into the exam portal, how you're going to upload your questions when the test comes, as well as some timed mock practice today. So today we're going to be looking at FRQ number 2, the 15-minute question for Calc BC. As always, there'll be a couple of links. So you're going to find more links today than maybe you've seen before underneath the videos. You're going to see some links for our Dropbox. The material should be in there. You'll also see a Google Drive from the College Board that will also have the materials for that day in there as well. And you'll see a couple other links like the AP demo site. You'll see a link for that, and then some other links maybe that a College Board is sharing with you for help and reference. So check out those links, download the materials if you would like to follow along with us with the problems that we're doing today. And as always, I am here with my good friend, Tony Record from Avon High School, and my name is Brian Passwater from Speedway High School, both of us from the great state of Indiana. And Tony, I'm going to go big screen for a moment and let you know I got some exciting news.
Well, Brian, I can't wait to hear it. What is this exciting news? Lay it on me.
Well, last week we talked about I wanted 50,000 views for our last real prep week of just content, preparing for the exam. 50,000 views for those 5 videos, and I said we would do our final count this morning. And guess what?
We got 49,999.
We did have exactly that many because I checked 3 days ago when we had 45,000, and this morning I checked and we have 54,304. So the intermediate value theorem does tell me you were correct. We did have that many at one point in time, but we broke the 50,000 mark. And in case students maybe forgot, guess what that means for you?
That you have to have a really good arm to chuck a pie all the way from Carmel, Indiana to Avon.
Yes, so we will be pieing you in the face. You will be pied in the face at some point this week. And to make it more suspenseful for you, I'm not going to tell you what day it is, but I promise you, one day this week, unbeknownst to you, I will find a way to virtually put it's going to be weird. It's a virtual but real pie. You're going to get truly pied in the face through the internet at some point this week. So that's coming at some time. So be ready for that. All right.
Look forward to it.
Good. I'm also excited because we finalized our t-shirt designs, right? We mentioned last week that we're going to be starting a t-shirt giveaway. So we finalized our designs over the weekend, got the t-shirts ordered, and then starting today, people are going to have a chance to enter to win this amazing t-shirt, right? And you're going to walk us through what it looks like and what they have to do.
Oh, we are so psyched about this. We have the official 2020 AP Calculus BC YouTube Live t-shirt design ready to go, and you're going to see it live here on YouTube. And here's the front of the shirt. There you go, Brian and Tony's World Tour 2020 AP Calculus BC YouTube Live. And the back of the shirt, all of our concert tour dates. Okay, maybe not concert tour dates, maybe not cities, but how about the dates that we did our broadcast and the specific topics that we hit each of those 33 days? That will be the design on the back.
That's incredible. So what do they got to do, right? So if I wanted to win one of these shirts, what's the process? How do I enter myself to win?
Well, to enter, all you have to do beginning today and each day through Friday, at least one time, you just need to send a tweet to both Brian and I, that's at Passwater B and at AP Calc Teacher, and you would simply need to take a screenshot of the College Board AP Practice confirmation screen. Now, Brian's going to very detailed talk you through that here in just a moment. And later on, you can go to the cb.org/AP demo. You don't need to do that right now, but he'll show you very specifically what that screenshot would look like. Just send it to us one time. One time is all that it takes between now and Friday. And then one student will be picked each day at random to receive a shirt along with their teacher.
That's fantastic. And I think that's the key, is that you're going to win one not just for yourself, but for your teacher as well. So now you know you're going to be your teacher's favorite student if you can score a free calculus t-shirt for them. I can tell you, as a calc teacher, and as my friend Tony as a calc teacher, we love nothing more than calc shirts. Nerdy math shirts are kind of like our thing, right? So exactly. So I am pretty excited about that, Tony. And in case you're not sure what this means for the confirmation, like Tony said, we're going to show you that today. So we're going to show you once we get to it, because we're going to practice it. We're going to show you on our own end how to do it. And then we're going to give you a chance later on today to practice this whole site, submitting a problem that you attempt. And then we will share with you on the screen exactly what that looks like. That moment of the picture that we're looking for. So just take a screenshot of that and then tweet at us, and then you're automatically entered to win. And then each day this week, we'll announce one winner. So pretty exciting stuff. And then not just exciting for t-shirts, because this week I'm excited, Tony, because there's a whole bunch of really important things happening this week, right? And so we wanted to share with you, before we jump into today, the week-long schedule, and then zoom in a little bit on what we're doing specifically today. So this is our schedule for this week. It may look a little bit different than what the YouTube channel might show for each day. And the College Board's updating those, but in case there's some slight differences, this is our official what we'll be doing each day. So today we're going to be talking about the exam portal, that AP demo site that we have to upload our answers, and making sure that you understand how to use it, how to access it. Because if you can do that, then you know you're going to be able to access and submit your exam on exam day. If you're having problems accessing this site, then that means as of right now, you're not going to be able to access or submit your exam on exam day. So we're trying to fix and problem solve all these things this week, well before the May 12th exam date. So we're going to be practicing the portal, walking you through it, and then doing a 15-minute timed FRQ. So we're going to give you a chance today to do a 15-minute problem, a practice test, and a chance to submit that online. And then tomorrow, I know Tony and I are really excited because a good friend of ours, Steve Kokoska, is going to be here. He's the former chief reader for AP Calculus, and he'll be here live, Tony, giving lots of good feedback on student errors, misconceptions, pitfalls. But he's been part of the development committee where they've written the FRQs for the exam, the chief reader of the exam. So he's going to share lots of insights, and students and teachers alike. If you join live, you can tweet at us during the show tomorrow your questions for Dr. Kokoska, and he will answer them for you the best he can. So the rest of the week is up there. We'll go more in detail on that later. We might want to pause if you want to take a look at that, but we're going to have more practice on Wednesday with the portal and FRQs, timed tests, same thing on Thursday, and then Friday, some last minute tips and tearful goodbyes. And then today specifically, Tony, we've got 3 pieces today, right? We're going to be doing. Number one, we're going to be talking about preparing for the exam. Tony's going to walk us through what that looks like. And then once he finishes that, I'm going to walk you through what the submission process looks like. You can kind of follow along. I'll show you the site, how it's going to work, one potential way it might work. And then finally, at the end, we're going to give you a chance to do a 15-minute timed FRQ, and then you're going to practice that submission that we just showed you. So lots of things happening today. So we want to jump right into it. So without further ado, Tony, can you start us on our journey toward what our students should be doing leading up to the exam?
I shall do that. And it just occurred to me that you might want to have some blank paper ready here whenever we start FRQ number 2 later in the broadcast. The problem will actually pop up on the screen, so you don't need to download anything as far as the problem is concerned, but just having that blank paper could be a nice thing here in just about 10 minutes or so when we get started there with that. So the 2020 AP Calculus BC exam, what to do before the exam, what to do during the exam. And we understand that it's very possible that you may have already gone through some demonstrations about how to go about this with your own teacher, and that's great. We want to make sure that you take their advice. We're going to kind of give you our take on it, and then that's something that you can discuss with them to kind of say, well, okay, what exactly might be the best approach. But I got a feeling that what we're going to tell you is going to be very similar to what your teachers have told you as well. So before exam day, right, this is something that you can start to do right now. You want to make sure that you set up a very appropriate space or room. So create that space for your testing area. It might be your bedroom. It could be a quiet place in a living room area, a den, an office, what have you. I suggest that you use that same area for all of your online submission practice attempts. So the things that Brian's going to walk you through, I would definitely want to use that same space so you know what the layout looks like and you know what to expect. I would hope that you would ensure that this area has a pretty decent Wi-Fi signal if you're not directly plugging in with an Ethernet cable. So you can always do speed tests and whatnot in that particular area to make sure that it's going to be appropriate. You definitely want to make sure that you're in a space that will minimize your distractions. Try to find a place that's free of a lot of walking traffic. Say if you have a very large family, you don't want to be bothered by maybe younger siblings. We know that that might be an issue with some of your homes. You definitely want to alert your friends and your family members that during that period of time that you want to make sure that it's quiet and that you're not going to be disturbed. Really important, why don't you go ahead and work on for those of you that elect to do your submission like that. You can have a maximum of 5 sheets of paper per free response question. And you want to make sure that you list your AP ID, which we're going to talk about how to get that here in a moment, your initials, and the page number written at the top of each of those pages. We would like you to use, or the College Board would like you to use 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. They can be lined, they can be unlined, but you want to try to use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Lay out several pens. They can be black, they can be blue. You can use dark number 2 pencils. You just want to use a writing utensil that you know will photograph well. And again, this is for those of you that are deciding to do the photo submission. All right, what about the to-do list as far as the technical setup? Well, we can't emphasize this enough. You want to practice, practice, and practice this upload process. This process can be begun at the cb.org/AP demo site. Brian's going to walk you through that here in just a little bit, and you can practice this as many times as you want to on your own. And you can make sure that you're very, very comfortable with this process because some of you might be doing this for obviously more than one AP exam. So develop that efficient routine that would complete this upload process in well under 5 minutes. We suggest, especially for those of you that are going to be doing your work on a separate sheet of paper and taking photographs, is to make a special folder that you can find, possibly on your desktop, that you can put your uploaded photos there if you decide to email them to you. Ensure that your email or your cloud storage will give you access to the photos quickly. And there's so many different ways that you can take those photos from a device and get them to your computer. You just have to find the process that's best for you. For some of you, it might be emailing. Brian's going to show you an example of that. For others of you, it could be any one of the cloud storage options that you have, whether it's Google Drive, Dropbox, Box. If you're an Apple user, iCloud works very seamlessly, but just practice the one that you feel that you're most comfortable with, and then just become more efficient with that. You want to make sure that your phone and your computer and any other devices that you use, maybe you're going to use a graphing calculator, you want to make sure that those are fully charged. And you also might want to turn off notifications on all devices. You just don't want to be distracted. Turn off those social media, those texts, those email notifications for that period of time so that you can focus on that particular test. You want to make sure that you find and record your College Board ID number, which will always be available to you 48 hours before the exam. So in the case of AP Calculus, that would be Sunday, May 10th. This ID would be sent to you in 2 different ways. You can find it by going to your email, and there will be a College Board email sent to your address that you had used to develop your College Board account. Or you can also find that on your My AP Classroom website. So you can log in there and also find those credentials. All right, it's exam day. What do we do? Well, we want to make sure that you understand that our timing is all based on Eastern time. Okay, we didn't want to throw a whole bunch of times up on the screen to confuse you. So the exam will begin at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Well, that doesn't mean that we want you to log on at 2 o'clock. We want you to be there at about 1:15 to 1:30. Give yourself at least 30 minutes and maybe more to be on that site so that you're getting acclimated to it, you're putting your credentials in, and you can log in and go through those security checks. You'll enter that 8-character ID code, answer all those security questions, and hey, why not? take that bathroom break before the exam starts so you don't have to be interrupted during the test. All right, we get closer to the test. It's going to be 2 o'clock Eastern time. That question is going to pop onto the screen. You want to start organizing your work on your papers, labeling each part of that problem appropriately. Don't erase any work. If you don't want the readers to see it, just cross it out. It's a lot faster to cross something out than erase it. We're okay. We've read many exams that have lots of crossouts on it. It's okay. We will grade the work that we see. Be very mindful of the timer, because when that timer shows 5 minutes remaining, it'll turn red. And that's when you really need to begin that upload process that Brian's going to talk about for that free response question 1. Under no circumstances should you ever close, refresh, or hit back with your browser. At about 2:25, you're going to get that timer that turns red with 5 minutes left. Lay those sheets out flat on the table. Place your phone device over the first page Brian's going to show you. Take those pictures. Repeat that process for each page of work, and then transfer your photos to your computer, whichever way you feel most comfortable, cloud storage or email. And then after that, you can then upload each of those photos in order to get them into the portal. And at that point, you can hit the yellow submit button. Once you do that, free response question 2 is going to begin promptly at 2:30. So you want to make sure that you're ready, all right, because that timer is going to start automatically. Basically, it's lather, rinse, repeat for free response question 2. The only difference, it's going to be a little shorter. You're going to have a 20-minute timer, 15 minutes of work time, and then that last 5 minutes with the red timer is going to be your upload time. All right? And it's the same process for the submission. Brian, you're going to go into a little bit more detail, I believe, now with this whole process, I believe.
Yeah, we're going to try, Tony. So on the screen right now, you should see the cb.org/AP demo. You don't need to go to that site now. We're going to have you go to that site after you complete the practice FRQ that we're going to try here in a few moments. But I want to put it on the screen now just in case you want to write that down so you have it handy. We'll remind you again later, but you might want to write that down so you have it handy. And then what I'm going to do is something we haven't done before really, Tony, is I'm going to stop sharing. So I'm going to have you stop sharing your screen and we're going to go to my camera, and it's going to look a little bit odd at first, I think here, but and then Tony, I think I'm going to have you turn your camera off. So that way I'm hoping if we do that, this will become full screen on the student side. So when it comes time to uploading your questions, right? So you've got all your questions here kind of nicely written, and you've got the top hand corner, your AP ID there that will be given to you. I just made a fake one right now, but when you get your testing ticket, like Tony mentioned, it'll tell you your 8-digit ID number, and your initials will be on there. And then what you're going to do, and Tony mentioned there's a couple of different ways you could do this, right? There's a couple of different processes, but we're going to show you one method today, which is going to be just using your phone, right? So maybe you're going to be
And Brian, if I
handwriting.
could interrupt just real quickly,
Sure.
can you flip that? You've got it upside down.
Is it upside down on this end?
Yeah, now it's good. Before it was right side up when we practiced this, but
yes.
There you go.
This is what happens is when you're on Zoom and you're doing these videos, everything in the camera is mirrored, and sometimes it's even upside down. So you don't have to take your pictures upside down. You can do it normally. And this is why I think Tony had me do this part of the presentation, because he knew that I would somehow mess it up. And that way he figured that would just be in line with my typical technology deficiency. So this is what you're going to have. So I kind of have some problems here, and then you're going to get your phone out, and then I'm going to put it right here. You're going to open up your camera app on your phone, and your phone might be different than mine. That's okay. And we're going to just take a couple of photos of our work. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to take a couple of pictures of my work and making sure that my entire thing is there. And I'm going to turn the page, however many pages you have. It's really important that we only have one page per photo, right? So you can't try to squeeze in 2 pages in one, but you're going to take your 2 pictures there. And then Tony and I have learned that our own students are so much better at technology than we are, but they haven't really ever had to upload or send files to their own computers or email. And so this might be a new piece for them. So there's a couple of options. Maybe you want to take your photos and send them right to your Dropbox account or your Google Drive, or you want to send them to your iCloud account if you have an iTunes, right, or an Apple device. All that's totally fine. And most students are pretty comfortable with that. But we're going to share how to do this with an email in case that's the way that you're going to do it. And so once you take your photos, you can go back into your photos wherever they are. And then this is a part I think our students didn't realize, to make sure you can send more than one photo at a time. So for my iPhone, as most phones have a similar method, you might have to figure out how yours works, but you can select as many photos as you want. And so I took 2 pictures of my photos, so I would just select those 2 problems, and then there's a little arrow button that allows you to send it. And so I want to send this to my email. So and here I would type in my email account that I'm sending it to. And then when you get ready to hit send, for most phones, because they're photos, they're going to ask you what size message that you want. It might say small, medium, large. And because you're sending it to your email and there's a timer involved, that medium size file is usually pretty good. The medium size is big enough to see it, but also not so big that it's going to, be too big uh, to send via your internet, right, to yourself. So you would email it to yourself. And then what I'm going to do now is switch over to what we might see on our end, right? So you've emailed it to yourself. And then now this is what the AP demo site is going to look like. So the AP demo site is going to look like this when you log in. The only difference is when you go to that cb.org/AP demo here in a few minutes, it's going to ask you to enter your 8-digit ID. And you're going to enter that with whatever ID you get on test day. But during the demo process for this week, it tells you to type in the word practice. And so you're going to type in the word practice, and then this is what we come to, is AP exam demo. And then you get here, you're going to type in your information. It's going to want your name and your birthday and all of that, and it needs to match your College Board information. So it does need to be correct, especially this email. It says enter your email address. It says associated with your College Board account. So it does need to be the same email on your College Board account. If you're not sure what that email address is, if you go into your AP Classroom site and you go into your profile, you can see what your email is, but it needs to be that because this is also the same email address that you're going to be sent your testing tickets. And then you're going to choose the option of where you're taking the exam. So I'm going to put home. And then you can decide whether your work that you do can be used for the College Board for educational research purposes. You can hit no if you don't want that, or hit yes if you want that. They don't sell that or anything. It's just when we grade exams and we look at some student samples, sometimes we like to use real student work. Of course, we cover up all names and there's no identifying marks, so no one will ever know who it is. But if you don't want that to happen, you can do that. And then when you first go to the site, there'll be a little timer on the bottom of when your test starts. So the cb.org demo site, it starts around 4.5 minutes. So today when you go on there, it'll be 4.5 minutes before it gets ready to go. On test day, like Tony mentioned, the timer is going to be however much time is left before the official start time of the exam. So if you start and you log in a half an hour early, it'll be starting around 30 minutes. If you come and log in, at 1:58 Eastern time, it's going to be around 2 minutes. If you come in at 2:03 Eastern time, you're going to be already started. There won't be a timer. The exam's already started, your clock's already begun, and you're already short on time. So that's why you want to make sure you come in at least a half an hour early. So then once the exam starts on the demo, the timer will be there. We can hit continue. And then this is where the question will appear on exam day. Right now, it just kind of shows you what it will look like on the demo, but there's no real question there. But what we're going to practice today is just uploading a question. So we're going to display a question to you on the screen. And then when we're done, we're going to have you go to the site, the cb.org site, and you're going to be able to log in, wait for that timer, and then attach a response. And so there's 3 main ways that you can attach a response. Once you're ready to attach a response, you go down here and you'll go to attach response. Right. Notice the timer on here, the time left to submit your work. This is going to be the official timer that the College Board has for that question. So for calculus, the first question, the timer will say 30 minutes. For the second question, the timer will say 20 minutes. Don't forget that 30 minutes includes 5 minutes of upload time. So really you have the first 25 minutes to work on that first question, and that last 5 minutes it will turn red, and then you have to upload your response. Today we're doing question number 2, so the timer is going to start with 20 minutes. And then the last 5 minutes, once it hits 5 minutes, it'll be time to upload your answer. So if we go to attach response, you've got two options: a text file in case you're typing up your answers. But if you're doing anything handwritten at all for any course, you have to go to attach photos. That's going to be the option that you're going to do. Anything handwritten needs to be a photo attachment. And then you're going to take the photos like I just showed you a moment ago. And then you're going to upload. So I hit attach photos on there. You'll notice the bottom of the screen says attach a photo. And then hopefully you've already emailed this to yourself, right? And so you'll notice if I go to my calculus email account here, this is the two problems that I emailed myself. So once I go to those two problems, if I click on that email, those are the two photos that I emailed myself. And then on the corner here, if you have Gmail, instead of clicking on those one by one and downloading them, you can just hit download all attachments. And when you click that little drop down arrow, it'll download them all to the bottom of your screen right here. And then when you open that folder, voila, those are your two problems. Now, what I've done, which I would recommend that you might do, is on my desktop, I created a folder on my desktop specifically for these problems. And so once I've downloaded them, I could click on them to select them. And then what I'm going to do is move them, right? So now instead of being in some downloadable email folder, I can click on them and hit move. And then if you choose where to move them to, I can find the folder that I created. So I created this folder called Calc BC Practice BC2, since that's the problem that we're doing today. And I'm going to move them to that folder. So now I know that they're in that folder. So when I go back to my attaching of a folder, notice it says it's in red, right? We're under 5 minutes. So they're kind of warning you that you've got to start uploading your problems. When I go to attach a photo, I can just go look for that folder, Calc BC Practice 2, open that folder, and lo and behold, those are my two problems. Now, we're going to have to upload these one at a time. So if I click on one of them and hit open, you'll notice right there under your attachments, it shows you that you attached it. You might choose to rename the files like, you know, BC2 page 1, BC2 page 2, if you want to do that, depending on how much time you have. But I don't want to hit submit yet because I've only attached one photo. So I'm going to go to attach another photo, and it'll take me back to that same window, and I can hit open, click on that again, and now notice both of my problems are on there. And then I'm ready to hit submit. And when you hit submit, you'll see a little pop-up window saying, are you sure that you've submitted all your photos? You have to make sure that all your photos are on there. Otherwise, there's no going back. If you submit it with only one page, you don't get to attach the extra pages that you forgot on the other question. It has to be attached to that problem for security purposes. So once you go to hit submit, then it'll be official and question 2 will open up. This screen right here would be a perfect screen for you to take a picture of for our t-shirt entry, because I can see in the background my photo 1, photo 2 are attached. You're ready to submit it. If you send that, then you've pretty much showed us, hey, you've gone on the demo site, you've attached a photo, you know how it works, and you've gone through the process. So that's all we want to see is for the t-shirt giveaway, is that you've tried, attempted, and know how to use the system. And then once you hit submit on there, it'll say question 1 is complete, and then question 2 will start precisely at whatever time it's supposed to start. So for Calc BC, Eastern time, that question 2 will be starting at 2:30 Eastern time. No matter when you submit your answers, it's going to start promptly at 2:30. So that timer will read however much time you have left until 2:30, and then question 2 will appear. So you won't see question 2 until you've submitted question 1 and that 2:30 Eastern time has rolled around. So Tony and I now want to give you a chance to do two things. Number 1, practice an FRQ, a timed 15-minute response. And then number 2, practice the system. And don't worry, if it's a little bit overwhelming, we're going to repeat this multiple times this week, giving you lots and lots of opportunities to get comfortable with the process of how, what's the best process for you? What's the best way for you to get the files to yourself? Is it iCloud? Is it Google Drive? Is it Dropbox? Is it email? So everybody has a little bit different of a system. So figure your system out, your phone out. And if you have questions, talk to your teachers, right? You can contact Tony and I if your teachers aren't sure what to do, and we can hopefully give you some more information as well. So Tony, we're going to transition now to a question the kids are going to be able to time themselves on.
Yes, we are. And it is going to be the very next slide. So hopefully you have your paper ready and you're ready to do a little calculus, a little bit of problem solving. But here is free response question 2. And we're just going to start this timer and we're going to be very quiet and let you work on this for 15 minutes. And then we'll get back to you to kind of explain that process of uploading, just briefly paraphrase it, and then close out the show today. So we want you to work on this problem, answer as much of it as you can, and best of luck to you.
And if you finish this problem a little bit early, maybe jump to that cb.org AP demo site because that timer will start at 4.5 minutes when you go on there. So whenever you're done, just hop on the site. That way the timer is starting so you're ready to upload as soon as possible. So you've got about 4 minutes left of the question, and you'll notice when the question turned to 5 minutes, it automatically jumped to red on there. That's kind of your warning that the question time is over, and now it's time to start uploading your answer. And so what we're going to have you do now is I want to share again that site just in case you forgot to write it down. But we're going to go to that cb.org/AP demo site, and that's where you're going to want to go, and you're going to need to go up there and try to upload your problem, right? And then the timer on here, because I switched slides, it automatically reset to 20 minutes. So you've got about 3 minutes left, but I want you to try real quick. Go to cb.org/AP demo, type in practice, and you have to wait a couple minutes, about 4.5 minutes, while you type in your information. And once that 4.5 minute entry is done, then you can try to upload your problems. And then our Twitter accounts at PasswaterB and at AP Calc Teacher are down there as well. So remember, once you get to that and that timer goes off and you're able to upload a photo and submit it, take a picture of that. That way we know that you were able to access the system and upload your fake answers, and then tweet it at Tony and I, and you're automatically entered to win a t-shirt, right? And tomorrow we'll announce our first winners, and then we'll keep announcing winners each day throughout the week. So Tony and I are going to give you another 3 minutes to try that process. So go to cb.org/AP demo and try it. And we'll be back on here in about 3 minutes to wrap up today's lesson. Well, I hope that you had a little bit of time to go to this cb.org/AP demo site, and I hope you had some time to take some photos with your phone or whatever method you're using to try to get your problems on the system, and then either email them to yourself or use a Google Drive or some kind of online cloud storage. But it really is important to practice this because when that timer goes off, when it hits 0000, if you have not submitted your work, it will not be graded. So the worst possible case scenario is for you to not upload any work. So even if you haven't quite finished all the problems, you might have thought, I didn't even get through these problems in 15 minutes. It took too long. I didn't finish it. The College Board has already mentioned they might give you a little bit more problems than you could do because they want to give you a chance to do as many problems as possible to show what you know, as many opportunities to show what you know, but also they want to keep you busy so that way there's no real time for students to stop, look things up, or tweet or other stuff like that. So it might be fast paced. If you don't finish a part, it's not going to prevent you from getting a 5 or passing the exam. So don't panic about that part, but you've got to make sure you get your work that you do have completed uploaded. So once that timer hits 5 minutes, don't think, oh, I got 3 more minutes. I got to finish this problem. I need to finish it out. Because then if you cut your time short, and you're not able to get that email through, it's not going to work for you. So we want to make sure that you have the good 5 minutes to do that. So pay close attention to that timer. Once it turns red, pay attention to that and then start that upload process as soon as possible. So I hope you had a chance to try that. If you haven't had a chance to do it or wasn't working, keep looking at it, keep trying it, contact your teacher. If you need help from Tony and I, let us know. And don't forget, once you get it to work, take a photo on your phone of the screen that says that you submitted it, and then tweet it at Tony and I. We've already got a whole bunch of submissions, Tony, which is pretty cool. A bunch of students obviously at work because they've already screenshotted it and submitted for their free t-shirt. And we'll announce our first winner tomorrow, and then we'll keep announcing winners each day. And you only have to submit once. You don't have to do this every single day. So once you've submitted and proved it, you're in the drawing, and we'll just keep going back to see who wins each day. So you don't have to do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As soon as you enter, you're in for the whole week, right? So that's it. Tony, some people would say this was some of the smartest stuff we said all day was the last 20 minutes of silence. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an attack on us, but it was a little bit awkward at first, I'm sure, for students to have us just sitting there in silence, but it is important to practice this. So Tony is going to wrap us up today, tell us what's coming tomorrow, and then close out our show.
As we just mentioned, tomorrow we have special guest, former Chief Reader Stephen Kokoska on. He's going to talk about some common misconceptions, common errors, and during that time, we will be debriefing the question that you just did today. So hang on to that solution and we'll go through that and show you what the correct answers are and show you what some of the issues that students could face from one year to the next on questions just like that. So we're finished today. We'll be with you tomorrow morning for some more exciting AP Prep Week action, and Anthony G is going to take us out. Stay safe, everybody. Keep learning.
AP Calc, yes, AP Calc. Welcome you to AP Calc, yes, AP